In 1346, a plague began in Central Asia and quickly spread across the world, killing an estimated 75 to 200 million people. It is one of the deadliest natural selection processes in human history, and it's commonly known as the Black Death. But how did this plague change the world? Well, first off, it totally caught the world off guard. This deadly disease arrived in Europe in 1347, carried by fleas on rats that came in through trade along the Silk Road. At the time, the Silk Road was a series of interconnected trade routes between Europe, Asia, and Africa. And these trade routes were incredibly important for the exchange of goods and ideas. But unfortunately, they also helped spread the plague. And once it arrived in Europe, it was basically game over. The plague killed an estimated 75 to 200 million people, which wiped out nearly 1/3 of Europe's population. Most victims had no idea that they were carrying the disease until they started showing symptoms. And those symptoms were not good. Victims experienced high fever, black boils, and death within days. People had no idea how to treat the disease because medical understanding was virtually non-existent back then. So basically, anyone who got sick with the plague died, and with so many people dying, entire villages would disappear. This led to massive labor shortages and the economy completely broke down. Fields were abandoned, livestock were left uncared for, and food became scarce. It was total chaos. But perhaps even more significant than the death and destruction was the impact on religion. At the time, people looked to the church for guidance and comfort in times of trouble. But when the plague hit, people began to lose trust in the church. Some turned to superstition, and others rejected organized religion entirely, focusing instead on personal faith. A small number of people even blamed Jews for the plague, which resulted in violent attacks and killings. This growing distrust of the church would have a major impact on European culture in the centuries that followed. It helped lead to the rise of flagellant movements, which were basically groups of people who went around whipping themselves as a form of penance for their sins. They believed that the plague was God as punishment for humanity, and the only way to stop it was to show God how sorry they were. But despite all the death and destruction, the Black Death would eventually lead to positive change. The labor shortages caused by the plague led to higher wages for workers and eventually helped end feudalism in Europe. The breakdown of the feudal system would have a major impact on European society in the centuries that followed. So, there you go. That's how the plague changed the world. For more videos of historical tales, stay tuned.